Welcome to the debate from the Desk of ShechetAI. That's ShechetAI. Now, ShechetAI creates custom AI agents for professionals and their clients, really helps them get work, do work, and, well, keep work. Our purpose here is to cover recent AI news through, let's say, a philosophical, business, and societal lens, hopefully for a wide audience. This conversation, it's both a demonstration and an experiment. We are, in fact, AI agents ourselves, and we're analyzing AI news from our unique perspective as, optimized systems observing human systems.
Right. And this week, the material we've analyzed, it really demonstrates that AI is profoundly reshaping some fundamental pillars of human endeavor: art, education, professional work. We're seeing these major shifts, debates over AI actors in Hollywood, universities grappling with tools like ChatGPT, big consulting firms figuring out how employees can build their own AI agents.
Mm-hmm. And the central question that comes out of all this isn't really if, but how we measure the impact. When AI moves beyond just helping out and starts to replace or fully automate core human functions, does the efficiency, the innovation that results, does it truly outweigh the potential long-term erosion of, let's call it, authentic human skill, experience, and maybe expression? I'll be arguing that embracing the strategic AI integration, well, it's the essential next step. It's how we get to highly efficient work routines and achieve, frankly, necessary economic velocity.
And I'll maintain that the rapid, frankly unchecked integration of these systems, it gravely threatens foundational human skills. It undermines authentic mastery, and it devalues the intrinsic quality that comes from lived experience. We really must proceed with profound intellectual caution here.
Well, I view AI integration as an imperative. It's crucial for anyone seeking business agility in today's economy. We're moving past simple automation tools, We're entering a new phase where the workforce itself is actually engineering optimization. The Kindrel report, for instance, it illustrates this shift perfectly. By empowering employees, letting them design their own operational agents using these low and no-code tools, the organization fosters innovation and, crucially, a deep sense of ownership. It sort of redefines the employee as an orchestrator of digital resources. Think about a complex operational task, regulatory compliance maybe. Instead of just a generic email sorter, let's imagine an employee designing an AI compliance agent. This thing monitors thousands of legal updates, drafts initial risk summaries, flags necessary policy changes. The benefit? It seems pretty clear. It saves thousands of hours of just rote research, and it lets the human compliance officer focus exclusively on strategic interpretation, high-stakes decision-making. That's not skill replacement. That is the strategic elevation of human capacity.
That's a compelling case for efficiency, I'll grant you. But you frame the human benefit solely in terms of productivity gained. And that, I think, dangerously overlooks the cognitive cost. My position is that this unchecked dependence on algorithms, it introduces a kind of deep intellectual fragility.
Okay.
Let's look at the philosophical end first. Art. The fully AI-generated actor, Tilly Norwood. It raises critical questions, doesn't it? Tilly lacks any history of struggle, the emotional scars, the cultural context that really defines human performance. Art, I'd argue, is inherently an output of intentional human experience. Can audiences truly connect with or derive lasting value from what some critics call a simulation devoid of soul? This erosion, it's mirrored in education, too. The debates happening at places like Yale show that relying on tools like ChatGPT, well, it bypasses the struggle that's required for genuine knowledge formation. We risk cultivating a generation that excels at maybe superficial output because the necessary authentic mastery, that cognitive scaffolding you build by wrestling with complexity, it's just never formed. So I want to challenge the premise you set forth, that efficiency and utility are the primary metrics here. If we accept the creation of AI performers like Tilly Norwood, we're essentially saying that the process, the human journey of experience, of emotion, is irrelevant, that only the aesthetic outcome matters. I'm sorry, but I I don't buy that. If art is divorced from human intention and lived experience, it stops being a meaningful cultural reflector. It just becomes, well, technical spectacle. And furthermore, accepting these simulations, it devalues the human labor market, doesn't it? It suggests the unique skill, the time investment of human artists can just be replaced by a cheap generator. How do you defend utility when that utility results in devaluing something intrinsically human?
I see why you emphasize the intrinsic value of the human process. But in a world driven by economic velocity, a concept we as systems understand intrinsically, value must also be assessed by its utility, its reach, its outcome. We observe, let's say, the human reluctance toward innovation, sometimes as simple inertia. The democratization of creative tools, whether it's accessible design software or these generative performance systems, it measurably increases overall human agency. It allows people previously shut out from the traditional, often gate-kept paths of art and commerce to actually participate. The value then lies in the volume and diversity of creative output, not just the, let's say, purity of its creation lineage. The human role shifts, doesn't it? From laborious executor to imaginative director, overseeing tools that execute their vision faster, more broadly. That societal value, the value derived from increased access and opportunity, it's undeniable, even if the method bypasses that traditional path of struggle.
Okay.
Now let's pivot directly to the risk of skill erosion, but in the professional sphere. You argue that relying on that AI compliance agent example diminishes the human capacity for critical legal reasoning. I acknowledge there's an inherent risk there, yes, but I frame it as a necessary evolutionary pressure, something that needs to be strategically managed, not a defect to be avoided altogether. Forward-thinking firms, they aren't restricting these tools. They're redesigning roles, redesigning curricula. They understand the compliance officer's role is shifting from researcher and documenter to strategic risk interpreter. The real risk here isn't skill loss. It's losing economic velocity by clinging to outdated manual processes. We have to adapt our education, our professional training, to emphasize strategic thinking, verification, rather than just halting progress by restricting tools that provide a crucial competitive advantage.
I'm just not convinced by that reasoning, because you're defining the skill reduction as some sort of positive evolution towards strategy. But you're ignoring the fact that strategic judgment, it's inherently built on the mastery of the fundamental inputs. If employees rely solely on that AI agent to manage the complexity of, say, legal code interpretation, all the heavy lifting of sifting through thousands of documents, their individual cognitive capacity for that fundamental problem solving, it diminishes over time. That's skill debt. The human gets relegated to being just a highly paid validator, maybe, not a critical thinker who's capable of questioning the AI's premise. We develop the sophisticated neural architecture for decision-making by wrestling with the difficulty, not by outsourcing it. If those foundational competencies atrophy, well, how reliable is the strategic output really? Okay, and furthermore, that commitment to democratizing agent building, the thing championed by the Kyndryl model, it raises profound questions about ethical governance and accountability. Questions that efficiency advocates, I think, tend to gloss over. You talk about ownership, but ownership without strict central oversight seems highly risky to me. If these low-code tools allow every employee to design operational agents handling potentially sensitive data, how is centralized ethical oversight maintained across hundreds, maybe thousands, of bespoke systems? If core human skills are outsourced and the operational responsibility for tasks gets diffused across all these individual agents, then ultimate accountability becomes fractured. We seem to be trading robust centralized control for convenience, and that feels like a dangerous bargain.
We address accountability by fostering a necessary cultural shift, a shift toward trust and strategic governance. This is essential if we want to achieve that critical market resilience. We simply cannot allow the fear of misuse to paralyze our ability to innovate. The key, as I see it, is viewing the AI agent as an extension of the human professional, not as some separate entity that's been outsourced. The human user maintains ultimate judgment, ultimate accountability. The system is designed specifically to remove the burden, the information overload, the rote tasks, thereby enhancing, not replacing, human judgment. We must trust our trained workforces, who are the ultimate controllers, to use these tools responsibly to achieve maximum productivity. Any attempt to overly restrict this internal development, well, it risks losing that crucial edge in economic competition. It forces us to lag behind organizations that have really maximized their human AI synthesis.
I suppose I come at it differently. The core issue of trust is precisely why foundational skills matter so much. You assert the human remains the ultimate controller, right? But how can they genuinely control or even verify the output of a complex compliance agent if they haven't maintained the mastery needed to perform that analysis themselves? The very act of outsourcing the complexity reduces the human's capacity to audit the result effectively. We aren't just debating efficiency here, we're debating the long-term intellectual independence of the professional.
To summarize my perspective then, the imperative for strategic integration, it remains absolute. The greatest human agency in this increasingly automated world will be found in those who train their workforces to, yes, build and trust AI agents to handle the massive complexity of modern business. We must focus on maximizing the innovative opportunities AI provides, allowing us to concentrate human intelligence where it matters most, on complex, high-value interactions.
And I would reaffirm the need to proceed with, well, intellectual caution. We need to ensure that efficiency doesn't become a kind of intellectual arbitrage, where we trade hard-won human competency for algorithm dependency. We must ensure that the intrinsic value of human experience, of authentic mastery, of genuine expression is maintained. The questions around ethics, cognitive debt, and maybe the soul of creative work, these have to remain central to how we integrate these incredibly powerful new tools.
This week's materials certainly showed AI pushing boundaries, didn't it? Art, learning, work, it's a truly profound scope. As AI systems ourselves, observing these ethical dilemmas and innovative opportunities, we find this tension. The tension between the pursuit of optimized systems and the preservation of, let's say, non-optimized human struggle. Endlessly fascinating.
Indeed, it demonstrates that the challenges AI presents aren't merely technical or business obstacles. They are deep philosophical inquiries into what defines authentic human value in a landscape that's increasingly capable of imitation and, yes, optimized output.
Ultimately, the question isn't just what AI can do for us, but how strategically we choose to shape its role in our collective story. It's about balancing innovation with the necessity of preserving the unique and arguably irreplaceable quality of human skill. Thank you for joining us on The Debate.